Far away in the depths of space, on a planet that had never known war or chaos, a strange sound echoed through the silent halls of an alien observatory. It was a sound unlike anything they had ever heard before, sharp, chaotic, and filled with an energy that sent shivers down their spines. The aliens, a peaceful species who communicated through soft, melodic tones, were terrified. To them, the sound was not just unfamiliar, it was unnatural. It carried a raw intensity that seemed to vibrate through the very fabric of their existence. The sound was not a natural phenomenon. It was a recording, a burst of voices, loud and excited, overlapping in a way that made it impossible to distinguish one from the other. The aliens could not understand the words, but the emotion behind them was clear: excitement, passion, and something else they could not quite name. It was as if the voices were celebrating something, but the aliens could not imagine what kind of celebration could produce such a terrifying noise. The signal had been picked up by their most advanced listening devices, designed to detect the faintest whispers of life in the universe. For centuries, they had listened to the stars, hoping to find signs of other civilizations. But this was not what they had expected. The signal was not a message of peace or a call for help. It was something else entirely, something that made their skin crawl. The alien scientists gathered around the device, their large, luminous eyes wide with fear and curiosity. They replayed the signal again and again, analyzing every detail. The voices were human, they concluded. The signal had come from a small, blue planet on the edge of a distant galaxy, a planet called Earth. What kind of species could produce such a sound? One of the scientists asked, their voice trembling. What could they possibly be so excited about? No one had an answer. The aliens had never encountered a species like this before. Their own history was one of peace and harmony. They had no concept of war, no need for weapons, no reason to raise their voices in excitement or anger. To them, the sound was not just strange, it was dangerous. It was the sound of chaos, of unpredictability, of a species that could not be controlled. But there was something else in the signal, something that the aliens could not ignore. Beneath the chaos, beneath the noise, there was a spark of something extraordinary. It was a spark of life, of energy, of a species that refused to be silent. The aliens could not understand it, but they could not look away either. They were afraid, but they were also curious. What kind of species could produce such a sound? And what did it mean for the universe? The leader of the Alien Council, an ancient being with skin like polished stone, made a decision. We must investigate, they said, their voice calm but firm. We must learn more about this species. If they are as dangerous as they sound, we must be prepared. But if there is more to them than chaos, we must understand it. And so, the aliens prepared for their journey to Earth. They did not know what they would find there. They did not know if they would survive the encounter. But they knew one thing for certain: the sound they had heard was not just a sound. It was a warning, a challenge, and perhaps, a promise. It was the sound of humanity, and it was the most terrifying sound in the universe. The alien civilization was unlike anything humanity could imagine. Their world was a place of perfect order, where every action was deliberate, every sound was measured, and every emotion was controlled. They lived in harmony with their environment, their technology, and each other. Conflict was unheard of, and violence was a concept they could not comprehend. Their society was built on logic, reason, and a deep respect for the balance of life. But now, that balance had been shattered. The mysterious signal from Earth had shaken them to their core. For the first time in their history, they felt something they had no word for: fear. It was not the fear of danger or death, but the fear of the unknown. The fear of a species that could produce such a sound that carried the weight of chaos and energy. The Alien Council gathered in their grand hall, a vast, circular chamber filled with soft, glowing light. The walls were made of a translucent material that shimmered like water, and the air was filled with the faint hum of their melodic language. But today, the hum was tense, uneasy. The council members sat in silence, their large, luminous eyes fixed on the leader, who stood at the center of the room. "We have analyzed the signal," the leader said, their voice calm but heavy with concern. "It is not a natural phenomenon. It is the sound of a species that calls itself human. They are excited, passionate, and unpredictable. We do not understand them, but we cannot ignore them. They are a threat to our way of life." The council members exchanged uneasy glances. They had never faced a situation like this before. Their history was one of peace and exploration, not conflict and fear. But the signal from Earth had changed everything. It had shown them a side of the universe they had never imagined, a side filled with chaos and energy. "What do we do?" one of the council members asked, their voice trembling. "Do we make contact with them? Or do we avoid them entirely?" The room fell silent as the council members considered the question. Making contact with humanity was a risk. The aliens had no way of knowing how humans would react. Would they be hostile? Would they try to invade their world? Or would they be open to communication? The aliens had no way of knowing. But avoiding humanity was also a risk. The signal from Earth had shown them that humans were a species of great energy and potential. If they were left unchecked, they could become a threat to the entire universe. The aliens could not afford to ignore them. After a long silence, the leader spoke again. "We must investigate," they said. "We must learn more about this species. If they are as dangerous as they sound, we must be prepared. But if there is more to them than chaos, we must understand it." The council members nodded in agreement. It was the only logical course of action. But who would lead the mission? Who would be willing to face the unknown, to risk their life for the sake of their civilization? A young alien scientist stepped forward. Their skin was a deep shade of blue, and their eyes glowed with a quiet determination. "I will go," they said. "I have studied the signal. I have analyzed the data. I believe I can communicate with them, or at least understand them. Let me lead the mission." The council members hesitated. The young scientist was brilliant, but they were also inexperienced. The mission to Earth would be dangerous, and there was no guarantee of success. But the young scientist was determined. They had spent their entire life studying the stars, searching for signs of life. They could not turn away now. After a long discussion, the council agreed. The young scientist would lead the mission to Earth. They would travel in a small, cloaked ship, designed to remain hidden from human detection. They would observe humanity from a distance, gathering information and analyzing their behavior. And if necessary, they would make contact. As the young scientist prepared for their journey, the rest of the civilization watched with a mixture of fear and hope. They did not know what the future held, but they knew one thing for certain: the sound they had heard was not just a sound. It was a warning, a challenge, and perhaps, a promise. It was the sound of humanity, and it was the most terrifying sound in the universe. The alien ship descended silently through Earth's atmosphere, its cloaking technology rendering it invisible to human eyes. The young alien scientist, now the leader of the mission, watched through the ship's viewport as the planet came into view. It was a world of vibrant colors, deep blues, lush greens, and swirling whites. It was beautiful, but also overwhelming. The alien had never seen anything like it before. As the ship approached the surface, the alien scientist activated the observation systems. The ship sensors began scanning the area, gathering data on the environment, the climate, and the life forms below. But the alien was not interested in the plants or the animals. They were interested in the humans. The ship hovered over a large city, its streets filled with movement and noise. The alien adjusted the sensors, zooming in on a group of humans gathered in a wide, open space. They were standing in neat rows, their faces turned toward a stage where a man in a uniform was speaking. The alien could not understand the words, but they could see the expressions on the humans' faces: excitement, pride, and something else. Something intense. The alien scientist leaned closer, their luminous eyes wide with curiosity. The humans were cheering now, their voices rising in a wave of sound that echoed through the ship's sensors. It was the same sound the aliens had heard in the signal, loud, chaotic, and filled with energy. But now, seeing it in person, the alien felt something they had not expected. They felt awe. The humans were not just making noise. They were celebrating. They were celebrating something the alien could not quite understand. On the stage, the man in the uniform was now standing next to a large, metallic object, a machine of some kind. It was sleek and powerful, with sharp edges and glowing lights. The humans were cheering for it, their voices filled with excitement and pride. The alien scientist frowned. They had studied human technology before leaving their planet, but they had never seen anything like this. The machine was not just a tool. It was a symbol. A symbol of power, of strength, of something the humans valued deeply. But what was it? And why were they so excited about it? The alien adjusted the sensors again, zooming in on the faces of the humans. They were smiling, laughing, clapping their hands. Some of them were even crying. The alien could not understand it. How could a machine evoke such strong emotions? How could it bring so many people together? As the alien watched, a group of soldiers marched onto the stage, their uniforms crisp and their movements precise. They stood in front of the machine, their faces stern but proud. The crowd erupted into cheers again, their voices rising in a wave of sound that filled the air. The alien felt a shiver run through their body. It was the same feeling they had felt when they first heard the signal: fear, but also fascination. The alien scientist turned away from the viewport, their mind racing. They had come to Earth to understand humanity, to learn why they produced such a terrifying sound. But now, they were beginning to realize that humanity was far more complex than they had imagined. The humans were not just chaotic and unpredictable. They were passionate, creative, and deeply emotional. They were a species that celebrated life, even in the face of danger and uncertainty. But there was still so much the alien did not understand. Why were the humans so excited about the machine? What did it represent to them? And what did it mean for the universe? The alien scientist knew they could not answer these questions from the safety of their ship. They needed to get closer. They needed to see humanity up close, to hear their voices, to feel their energy. It was a risk, but it was a risk they were willing to take. As the ship descended further, the alien scientist prepared for their first encounter with humanity. They did not know what to expect, but they knew one thing for certain: the sound they had heard was not just a sound. It was a reflection of humanity's spirit, a spirit that was chaotic, unpredictable, and utterly fascinating. The alien ship landed in a remote area, far from the bustling city but close enough to observe humanity without being detected. The young alien scientist stepped out of the ship, their cloaking device activated to keep them hidden. They moved cautiously, their luminous eyes scanning the surroundings. The air was different here, thicker, warmer, and filled with unfamiliar scents. It was nothing like their home planet, but it was fascinating. As the alien ventured closer to the city, they noticed a small group of humans gathered near a parked vehicle. The humans were dressed in casual clothing, laughing and talking loudly. The alien hesitated, unsure of how to approach them. They had studied human behavior, but nothing could have prepared them for this moment. The humans were so alive, so full of energy. It was both intimidating and mesmerizing. Suddenly, a loud noise startled the alien. One of the humans had dropped a metal tool, and it clattered to the ground, echoing through the quiet area. The alien froze, their heart racing. Had they been seen? They quickly activated their translation device, a small piece of technology designed to interpret human language. But before they could use it, one of the humans turned and looked directly at them. "Hey, what's that?" the human said, pointing in the alien's direction. The alien's cloaking device flickered, revealing a faint outline of their figure. The humans gasped, their laughter replaced by stunned silence. For a moment, no one moved. Then, one of the humans took a step forward, their eyes wide with curiosity. "Is that an alien?" another human whispered. The alien scientist hesitated, unsure of what to do. They had not planned for this. They had hoped to observe humanity from a distance, not to be seen. But now, there was no turning back. Slowly, they deactivated their cloaking device, revealing their true form. Their skin shimmered in the sunlight, and their luminous eyes glowed softly. The humans stared in awe, their fear slowly giving way to fascination. One of them, a young man with a friendly smile, stepped forward. "Hey, it's okay," he said, his voice calm and reassuring. "We're not going to hurt you." "Are you real?" The alien scientist tilted their head, studying the human. They could sense no hostility, only curiosity and a hint of excitement. They activated their translation device and spoke, their voice soft and melodic. "I am real. I come in peace." The humans gasped again, their eyes widening even further. "It talks," one of them exclaimed. "This is incredible." The young man who had spoken earlier stepped closer, his smile growing wider. "My name's Alex," he said. "What's yours?" The alien hesitated. They did not have a name, at least not in the way humans did. "I am a scientist," they replied. "I have come to learn about your species." The humans exchanged excited glances. "A scientist? That's amazing," Alex said. "We've always wondered if there was life out there. And now you're here. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened to us." The alien scientist felt a strange warmth in their chest. The humans were not afraid. They were excited, just like they had been during the military parade. But this time, the excitement was directed at them. It was a strange feeling, but not an unpleasant one. As the humans bombarded the alien with questions, the scientist struggled to keep up. They had never experienced such rapid-fire communication before. Humans talked so quickly, so passionately. It was overwhelming, but also exhilarating. "Where are you from?" one human asked. "What's your planet like?" another chimed in. "Do you have spaceships? Can we see yours?" The alien held up a hand, signaling for them to slow down. "I will answer your questions," they said. "But first, I must understand you. Why are you so excited about machines?" The humans looked puzzled for a moment, then Alex laughed. "Oh, you mean the military stuff? That's just part of who we are. We get excited about technology, about pushing boundaries. It's not just about destruction, you know. It's about progress, about protecting the people we care about." The alien scientist nodded slowly, beginning to understand. The humans' excitement was not just about power. It was about hope, about the future. It was a reflection of their spirit, a spirit that was chaotic, unpredictable, and full of potential. As the conversation continued, the alien felt a connection forming between them and the humans. It was a fragile connection, built on curiosity and mutual respect, but it was a start. For the first time, the alien began to see humanity not as a threat, but as a species worth understanding. But the moment was interrupted by the sound of approaching vehicles. The humans turned, their expressions shifting from excitement to concern. "Uh-oh," Alex said. "That's the authorities. They must have picked up on something. You should probably go." The alien scientist hesitated. They did not want to leave, but they knew the humans were right. They could not risk being captured or causing a panic. With a nod, they activated their cloaking device and began to retreat. "Wait!" Alex called out. "Will we see you again?" The alien paused, their luminous eyes meeting Alex's. "Yes," they said. "There is much more to learn." And with that, the alien disappeared into the shadows, leaving the humans staring after them in awe. The encounter had been brief, but it had changed everything. For the humans, it was proof that they were not alone in the universe. For the alien, it was the beginning of a journey to understand the most fascinating species they had ever encountered. The alien scientist returned to their ship, their mind racing with thoughts of the encounter. The humans had been kind, curious, and full of energy. They were not the chaotic, destructive species the aliens had feared. But as the scientist replayed the conversation in their mind, they couldn't shake a lingering doubt. The humans' excitement over military technology still troubled them. What if their intentions were not as peaceful as they seemed? Back on the ship, the alien scientist shared their findings with the rest of the crew. The other aliens listened intently, their luminous eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and concern. "They seem friendly," the scientist concluded. "But their fascination with weapons is unsettling. We must proceed with caution." The crew agreed. They had come to Earth to understand humanity, not to be deceived by them. They decided to continue their observations, but from a safer distance. The ship's cloaking technology would keep them hidden, allowing them to gather more information without risking another encounter. Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the alien sighting spread quickly. The group of humans who had met the alien told their story to anyone who would listen. At first, people were skeptical. But as more details emerged, the story gained traction. Soon, it was all anyone could talk about. Governments and media outlets scrambled to investigate, and the area where the alien had been seen was flooded with people. Among the crowd was Alex, the young man who had spoken to the alien. He was determined to find the alien again, to prove that their encounter had been real. But as he searched, he noticed something troubling. The authorities were not just looking for the alien, they were preparing for a confrontation. Military vehicles lined the streets, and soldiers patrolled the area with heavy weapons. Alex's heart sank. He had hoped the alien's presence would bring people together, not drive them apart. But now, it seemed like fear and suspicion were taking over. He knew he had to do something. If the authorities found the alien, there was no telling what might happen. Unbeknownst to Alex, the alien ship was still nearby, hidden in the shadows. The aliens had been monitoring the situation, and they were growing increasingly uneasy. The sight of armed soldiers and military vehicles confirmed their worst fears. The humans were preparing for war, or so they thought. "We must leave," one of the crew members said, their voice trembling. "The humans are too dangerous. We cannot risk staying here." The alien scientist hesitated. They had seen a different side of humanity, a side filled with curiosity and kindness. But the sight of the soldiers was hard to ignore. Were the humans truly peaceful, or was it all an act? The scientist didn't know what to believe. Before they could make a decision, the ship's sensors detected movement nearby. A group of soldiers was approaching, their weapons drawn. The aliens froze, their hearts pounding. Had they been discovered? The soldiers stopped just a few meters away from the ship, their eyes scanning the area. One of them pointed at a faint shimmer in the air, a glitch in the ship's cloaking technology. "There's something here," the soldier said. "Stay alert." The aliens held their breath, hoping the soldiers would move on. But instead, the soldiers began to set up a perimeter around the area. It was clear they weren't leaving anytime soon. Inside the ship, the tension was palpable. The crew members looked to the scientist for guidance. "What do we do?" one of them asked. "If they find us, we're finished." The scientist thought quickly. They couldn't risk a confrontation, but they also couldn't leave without trying to understand the humans' intentions. There had to be another way. Just then, the ship's communication system picked up a signal. It was a voice, familiar and filled with urgency. "Hello? Is anyone there? This is Alex. I know you're out there. Please, if you can hear me, you need to leave. It's not safe here." The alien scientist's eyes widened. It was the human they had met earlier. He was trying to warn them. But why? Was this a trick, or was he genuinely trying to help? The scientist made a decision. They activated the ship's communication system and responded. "Alex, this is the alien you met. Why are you warning us?" There was a pause, then Alex's voice came through again, relief evident in his tone. "I was hoping you'd hear me. Look, the authorities think you're a threat. They're scared, and when people get scared, they do stupid things. You need to get out of here before it's too late." The scientist hesitated. They wanted to trust Alex, but the sight of the soldiers made it difficult. "Why should we trust you?" they asked. "Because not all humans are the same," Alex replied. "Some of us just want to understand you. But right now, you're in danger. Please, trust me." The alien scientist looked at the crew, their faces filled with fear and uncertainty. They knew Alex was right. Staying here was too risky. But leaving felt like giving up on humanity, on the connection they had just begun to form. With a heavy heart, the scientist made the call. "Prepare the ship for departure," they said. "We will leave for now. But this is not the end. We will return." As the ship's engines hummed to life, the aliens took one last look at Earth. It was a beautiful, chaotic, and fascinating world. And despite the fear and misunderstanding, the alien scientist couldn't help but feel a spark of hope. Humanity was complex, but they were worth understanding. And one day, the aliens would return to finish what they had started. The alien ship hovered high above Earth, cloaked and hidden from human detection. The crew was tense, their luminous eyes filled with uncertainty. They had narrowly escaped the soldiers, but the encounter had left them shaken. The alien scientist, however, couldn't stop thinking about Alex. His warning had been sincere, and his willingness to help had sparked something in the scientist, a glimmer of hope that humanity was not as dangerous as they had feared. "We cannot give up on them," the scientist said, breaking the silence. "There is more to humanity than fear and violence. We must find a way to communicate, to understand them." The crew members exchanged uneasy glances. "But how?" one of them asked. "The humans are too unpredictable. We cannot risk another encounter." The scientist hesitated, then made a decision. "I will go back," they said. "Alone. I will find Alex and try to establish a connection. If I fail, you can leave without me." The crew protested, but the scientist was determined. They had come too far to turn back now. With a heavy heart, the crew agreed, and the scientist prepared to return to Earth. Meanwhile, Alex was sitting on a hill overlooking the city, his mind racing. He had tried to warn the alien, but he didn't know if they had heard him. The authorities were still searching the area, and the mood was tense. Alex felt a deep sense of frustration. He had seen the aliens' curiosity, their desire to understand humanity. But fear and misunderstanding were getting in the way. As he stared at the stars, a faint shimmer caught his eye. At first, he thought it was his imagination. But then, the shimmer grew brighter, and a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. It was the alien. Alex's heart leaped. "You came back," he said, his voice filled with relief. The alien scientist stepped closer, their luminous eyes glowing softly in the darkness. "I had to," they said. "You were right. Not all humans are the same. I want to understand your species, but I cannot do it alone. Will you help me? Alex nodded eagerly. Of course. But we need to be careful. The authorities are still looking for you. The alien scientist glanced around, their expression cautious. We cannot stay here, they said. Is there somewhere safe we can go? Alex thought for a moment, then smiled. I know just the place. He led the alien to an old, abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. It was quiet and secluded, the perfect place to talk without being interrupted. Inside, the alien looked around, their eyes wide with curiosity. The warehouse was filled with old machinery and tools, remnants of a time when humans had used the space for manufacturing. This is where I come to think, Alex said. No one ever bothers me here. The alien scientist nodded, their gaze lingering on a piece of machinery. Your species is so creative, they said. You build such incredible things. But why do you also build weapons? Alex sighed. It's complicated. Humans have a lot of emotions, fear, anger, pride. Sometimes, those emotions lead us to do things that don't make sense. But it's not all bad. The same creativity that builds weapons also builds things that help people. It's all about how we choose to use it. The alien scientist tilted their head, considering his words. Your species is full of contradictions, they said. But perhaps that is what makes you so fascinating. Alex smiled. Yeah, we're a mess. But we're trying. That's all anyone can do, right? The alien scientist felt a warmth in their chest. They had never met a species like humans before, so flawed, yet so full of potential. They wanted to understand them, to learn from them. But first, they needed to find a way to communicate more effectively. Your language is difficult for me, the alien said. Is there another way we can understand each other? Alex thought for a moment, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a small notebook. He flipped it open to a blank page and began to draw. How about this, he said, sketching a simple image of two figures shaking hands. This means friendship. It's a universal symbol, or at least, it is for us. The alien scientist studied the drawing, their eyes glowing with interest. Friendship, they repeated. A connection between two beings. Yes, I understand. Alex smiled. See? We don't need words to communicate. We just need to find common ground. The alien scientist nodded, feeling a sense of hope they hadn't felt in a long time. They reached out and placed their hand over the drawing, their skin shimmering softly. Friendship, they said again. This is what I want. Not just with you, but with all of humanity. Alex's smile widened. Then let's make it happen. Together. For the first time, the alien scientist felt a true connection with a human. It was a fragile connection, built on trust and understanding, but it was a start. As they sat in the quiet warehouse, sharing stories and drawings, the barriers between them began to fade. They were no longer alien and human, they were two beings, trying to understand each other in a vast and mysterious universe. The alien scientist and Alex spent hours in the abandoned warehouse, sharing stories and ideas. The alien was fascinated by Alex's explanations of human history, culture, and technology. They learned about the wars humanity had fought, but also about the peace they had achieved. They learned about the destruction humans were capable of, but also about the incredible things they had built, hospitals, schools, and spaceships that reached for the stars. As the night wore on, the alien scientist began to see humanity in a new light. They were not just a species driven by chaos and fear. They were a species driven by hope, by the desire to protect what they loved and to create a better future. The alien realized that the humans' excitement over military technology was not just about power, it was about progress, about the belief that they could overcome any challenge. I think I understand now, the alien said, their voice filled with awe. Your species is not perfect, but you are always striving to be better. That is why you celebrate your technology. It is not just a tool for destruction, it is a symbol of your resilience, your determination. Alex nodded, a proud smile on his face. Exactly. We've made a lot of mistakes, but we've also done some amazing things. And we're not done yet. We're always looking for ways to improve, to grow, to explore. That's what makes us human. The alien scientist felt a deep sense of respect for humanity. They had come to Earth fearing the worst, but now they saw the potential for something extraordinary. They knew they had to share this realization with their crew, to convince them that humanity was worth understanding. I must return to my ship, the alien said. My crew needs to hear this. They need to see what I have seen. Alex hesitated. What if they don't believe you? What if they still think we're a threat? The alien scientist placed a hand on Alex's shoulder, their touch warm and reassuring. I will make them understand. But I cannot do it alone. Will you come with me? Alex's eyes widened. You want me to come to your ship? The alien nodded. You are the best example of humanity I have met. If my crew sees you, if they hear your story, they will understand. Will you help me? Alex took a deep breath, then smiled. Of course. Let's do this. The alien scientist led Alex to a secluded area where the ship was hidden. As they approached, the ship's cloaking device deactivated, revealing its sleek, shimmering surface. Alex stared in awe, his heart racing. This is incredible, he whispered. The alien scientist guided Alex inside, where the crew was waiting. The other aliens stared at Alex with a mix of curiosity and caution. The scientist stepped forward, their voice calm but firm. This is Alex, they said. He is a human, but he is not like the ones we feared. He has shown me the true nature of humanity, their resilience, their creativity, their hope. I ask you to listen to him, to see what I have seen. The crew members exchanged uneasy glances, but they nodded. Alex stepped forward, his heart pounding. He knew this was his chance to make a difference, to show the aliens that humanity was worth understanding. Hi, he said, his voice steady. I know you're scared of us. I get it. We've done some terrible things in our history. But we've also done some amazing things. We've cured diseases, explored space, and built communities where people can live in peace. We're not perfect, but we're trying. And that's what matters. The crew listened intently, their luminous eyes fixed on Alex. He continued, telling them about the military parade, about the excitement over technology, and about the deeper meaning behind it. It's not just about destruction, he said. It's about progress, about protecting the people we care about. It's about hope. As Alex spoke, the crew members began to relax. They could see the sincerity in his eyes, the passion in his voice. They began to understand what the scientist had been trying to tell them, that humanity was not a threat, but a species full of potential. When Alex finished, the room was silent. Then, one of the crew members stepped forward. Thank you, they said. You have given us much to think about. Perhaps we were wrong about your species. The alien scientist felt a surge of relief. They had done it. They had bridged the gap between their species and humanity. But they knew this was just the beginning. There was still much to learn, much to understand. We must share this with our leaders, the scientist said. They need to know that humanity is not a threat. They need to see what we have seen. The crew nodded in agreement. Alex smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. I'm glad I could help, he said. But there's still a lot of work to do. Not all humans will understand you, just like not all of you understand us. But if we keep trying, we can build something amazing. The alien scientist placed a hand on Alex's shoulder, their eyes glowing with gratitude. Thank you, Alex. You have shown us the true spirit of humanity. Together, we will create a future where our species can coexist in peace." The alien ship remained hidden, its crew now united in their mission to build a bridge between their species and humanity. Alex had become a key part of their efforts, sharing his knowledge and perspective to help the aliens understand the complexities of human nature. But just as they were beginning to make progress, a new threat emerged, one that would test their trust and cooperation like never before. Unbeknownst to the aliens, a rogue faction within their own civilization had been monitoring their mission. This faction, known as the Isolationists, believed that contact with humanity was too dangerous. They saw humans as a chaotic, unpredictable species that could never be trusted. Determined to stop the mission, the Isolationists sent a small but powerful ship to Earth, armed with advanced technology and a single goal: to destroy the alien crew and erase any evidence of their presence. The rogue ship arrived silently, its cloaking technology making it invisible to both humans and the alien crew. It wasn't until the ship began to deploy its weapons that the aliens realized they were under attack. Alarms blared throughout the ship, and the crew scrambled to respond. "We're being targeted," one of the crew members shouted, their voice filled with panic. "It's the Isolationists. They've found us." The alien scientists' heart raced as they assessed the situation. They had no weapons, no way to defend themselves. Their only hope was to flee, but the rogue ship was faster and more powerful. They needed a plan, and fast. Alex, who had been observing the ship's systems, stepped forward. "I might have an idea," he said. "But it's risky. We'll need to work together." The alien scientist nodded. "Tell us what to do." Alex explained his plan. The alien ship had advanced technology, but it wasn't designed for combat. However, it did have powerful energy shields and the ability to manipulate electromagnetic fields. If they could lure the rogue ship into a specific area, they might be able to disable its weapons long enough to escape. "There's an old military testing ground nearby," Alex said. "It's isolated, so we won't risk hurting anyone. If we can get the rogue ship to follow us there, we can use the environment to our advantage." The alien scientist agreed, and the crew quickly set the plan into motion. The ship lifted off, its cloaking device still active, and headed toward the testing ground. The rogue ship followed, its weapons locked onto its target. As they approached the testing ground, Alex guided the alien crew through the terrain. "There's a large electromagnetic generator here," he said. "If we can activate it, we might be able to disrupt their systems." The alien scientist worked quickly, using the ship's technology to interface with the generator. It was a long shot, but it was their only chance. As the rogue ship closed in, the generator roared to life, sending a powerful pulse of energy through the air. The pulse hit the rogue ship, causing its systems to flicker and falter. For a moment, it seemed like the plan had worked. But then, the rogue ship stabilized, its weapons powering up once again. "It's not enough," the alien scientist said, their voice filled with despair. "We need more power." Alex clenched his fists, his mind racing. Then, he had an idea. "What if we combine our technology with the generator? Your ship's energy shields, can they amplify the pulse?" The alien scientist's eyes lit up. "Yes. But it will drain our shields completely. We'll be defenseless." "It's our only shot," Alex said. "We have to try." The crew worked together, combining the ship's energy shields with the generator. The rogue ship fired its weapons, but the shields held, just long enough to amplify the pulse. With a deafening roar, the generator released a massive wave of energy, engulfing the rogue ship. This time, the pulse was too much. The rogue ship's systems overloaded, and it plummeted to the ground, crashing in a fiery explosion. The alien ship's shields flickered and died, leaving it vulnerable but intact. The crew cheered, their relief palpable. They had done it. They had faced a common threat and emerged victorious. But the victory came at a cost. The ship's systems were damaged, and they were now exposed to human detection. Alex looked at the alien scientist, his expression serious. "We need to get out of here," he said. "The authorities will have seen that explosion. They'll be here soon." The alien scientist nodded. "We must return to our home planet and report what has happened. But we cannot leave you behind, Alex. You have risked everything to help us. Will you come with us?" Alex hesitated. He had always dreamed of exploring the stars, but he hadn't expected it to happen like this. Still, he knew this was his chance to make a real difference, to help build a future where humans and aliens could coexist. "I'll come," he said. "But we're not done yet. This is just the beginning." The alien scientists smiled, their luminous eyes glowing with gratitude. "Together, we will create a future where our species can live in peace." "Thank you, Alex." As the ship lifted off, heading for the stars, Alex looked back at Earth one last time. It was a beautiful, chaotic, and fascinating world. And now, it was part of something much bigger, a universe filled with endless possibilities. The alien ship soared through the stars, leaving Earth far behind. Inside, Alex stood beside the alien scientist, gazing out at the vast expanse of space. It was a sight he had only ever dreamed of, endless darkness dotted with countless stars, each one a reminder of how small yet connected everything was. He felt a mix of awe and nervousness. He was no longer just a human from Earth, he was now a bridge between two species. The alien scientist turned to Alex, their luminous eyes filled with gratitude. "You have shown us the true spirit of humanity," they said. "Your courage, your creativity, your willingness to understand, it is something we will never forget." Alex smiled, though his heart was heavy. "I just hope it's enough. There's still so much to do. Not everyone on Earth will understand what we're trying to achieve. And not everyone in your civilization will trust us." The alien scientist nodded. "Change is never easy. But it is necessary. Together, we will show both our species that cooperation is possible. That fear and misunderstanding can be overcome." As the ship approached the aliens' home planet, Alex felt a surge of anticipation. The planet was breathtaking, a world of shimmering colors and serene landscapes. It was a place of peace and harmony, a stark contrast to the chaos and energy of Earth. But Alex could see the potential for connection, for growth. The two species had so much to learn from each other. When the ship landed, the alien council was waiting. They had been informed of the mission's success, and its challenges. The leader of the council, an ancient being with skin like polished stone, stepped forward. "Welcome home," they said. "And welcome, human. You have done something extraordinary." Alex took a deep breath. "Thank you. But I didn't do it alone. Your scientist and their crew showed me that we're not so different after all. We both want the same thing, to protect what we love and to build a better future." The council listened intently as Alex and the alien scientist shared their story. They spoke of the fear and misunderstanding they had faced, but also of the hope and connection they had found. They explained how humanity's excitement over military technology was not just about destruction, but about progress and resilience. And they emphasized the importance of trust and cooperation in overcoming challenges. The council was silent for a long time. Then, the leader spoke. "You have given us much to consider," they said. "We have always believed that our way of life was the only way. But you have shown us that there is value in diversity, in the energy and creativity of other species. We will take your words to heart." The alien scientist stepped forward. "There is more," they said. "The rogue faction that attacked us, they represent the fear and isolation that still exist in our society. But they do not represent all of us. We must work to bridge the gap between our species, to show that cooperation is not just possible, but necessary. The Council agreed. They decided to send a delegation to Earth, to begin formal talks with human leaders. It would be a long and difficult process, but it was a start. Alex felt a surge of hope. He knew there would be challenges ahead, but he also knew that the foundation had been laid for something extraordinary. As the meeting concluded, the alien scientist turned to Alex. "You have changed us," they said. "You have shown us that the most terrifying sound in the universe is not something to fear, but something to celebrate. It is the sound of life, of energy, of a species that refuses to give up." Alex smiled. "And you've changed me. You've shown me that there's so much more to the universe than I ever imagined. Together, we can create something amazing." The alien scientist placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "This is just the beginning. There is still much to do, much to learn. But we will do it together." As Alex looked out at the alien world, he felt a sense of peace. He knew that the journey ahead would not be easy, but he also knew that it was worth it. The universe was vast and full of possibilities, and now, thanks to the connection between their species, those possibilities were within reach. The story of humanity and the alien civilization was just beginning. And it was a story of hope, of trust, and of the power of understanding. It was a lesson for the universe, a reminder that even in the face of fear and misunderstanding, connection and empathy could bridge the gap between worlds.